Hello, and welcome to Barcast Audio. In this short lesson, I'd like to talk briefly about the question I hear so many law students asking themselves. Am I studying enough? The answer to that question will likely depend on a number of factors, but you should know that the fact that you're even asking it is a good sign that you're on the right track. The uncomfortable truth of the matter is that there is no right answer to the question of whether you're studying enough. In fact, much of your first semester is going to be spent figuring out what works best for you personally. Your focus as you move through the early parts of the semester shouldn't be, am I studying enough? It should be, am I studying right? I know there are some professors who advocate studying 2 hours a night for every hour of class you take. So if you're taking a 4-hour torts class every week, that's 8 hours of additional studying every single week. When you start to add up your weekly credit hours, the number of prescribed credit hours of studying can start to become overwhelming. Now, I don't know if I necessarily agree about this 2 hours of studying per every hour of class rule, but I do think that you generally should be putting in around a traditional 40 to 45 hour work week in the early stages of 1L. As the semester progresses, you'll come to realize that you may have a better grasp of some subjects, and so you can devote less time to those and more time to the subjects you are having a hard time with. The most important tip I can give you in these early stages is actually exceedingly simple. Treat law school like a job. Now, some of you are probably rolling your eyes as I'm saying that. You're likely thinking, of course I have to treat it like a job. Do you think I don't know that already? And listen, I understand that many of you, especially those who may have taken time off between college and law school, already approach law school with this attitude. But a recurring issue I see in plenty of exceptionally intelligent law students is a difficulty in understanding that law school is much more akin to a full-time job than it is a college schedule. Your schedule doesn't necessarily need to run from 8 to 6 or 9 to 5, but in the aggregate, you should be hitting those 40 to 45 hours each week. Another thing to keep in mind is a concept you'll hear me discuss repeatedly in the series. That is, the idea of working smarter versus working harder. I don't want you to take my comments about treating this like a full-time job to mean that so long as you're putting your nose to the grindstone 40 to 50 hours a week, you're a shoo-in to finish at the top of your class. The reality of 1L is that you should view this amount of effort as a baseline, not as an accomplishment. What's even more important is you ensure that at least some of the non-class hours you're spending working are what I like to call progress hours. What do I mean when I say progress hours? Progress hours are those spent actively progressing your learning of the material in the lead up to final season. Not all study hours are created equal. Reading cases, jotting down notes so you don't get embarrassed on a cold call, while important, are generally not going to fall into the category of progress hours. Because while you may be getting a better grasp of the law through reading these cases, this process lacks course context. Your earliest opportunity at progress hours are going to come after you've gone to class and had your professor contextualize the cases you've read within the grander scope of the course. By returning to your notes after class, you're going to be able to better contextualize the material, and in doing so, put yourself in a better position as the time to outline approaches. Some of you may be able to manufacture progress hours by putting together flashcards throughout the semester. Others may find it helpful to start outlining early. What works for you is going to depend on how you learn, but your eye at the end of every week should always be on contextualizing what you learned that week. The easiest way I've found to do this early on is to look at your syllabus for each course and put together a Word document listing out each of the topics listed in a table of contents-like format. At the end of each week of class, return to this document, and beneath whichever topic you covered that week, jot down the cases you read and a short 1 or 2 sentence summary of the rule of law that came out of each of these cases. This short process will ensure that you're keeping track of where each case fits within the broader scope of the course, and will make your life exponentially easier once the outlining time rolls around. Thank you for listening to Barcast Audio. Please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more of these helpful 1L tips. I'll be back with another tip next week. Until then, bye now.